speaking of weak-willed people and the kind of nonsense that India is willing to accept and that Indians are willing to accept, I wanted to talk to you about, get your guys' opinion on this. So this is obviously Shri Mata Truschke, 2006. She says there's a Indian Express article covering whatever she wrote about Aurangzeb, and Aurangzeb apparently protected more Hindu temples than he destroyed. He employed more Hindus in his imperial administration than any prior Mughal ruler by a fair margin. And it's amazing to me that these kinds of people still have, can still make money off of Indians, can make such a lucrative career out of peddling this bullshit back to Indians. Like uni ki ghutti uni ko pila ke, they can make such a lucrative living. Because I was thinking, as soon as I read that, I was thinking, yeah, this is an amazing jump of logic. Because Kushal, Hafiz Saeed has only been able to kill a handful of people so far, handful of Hindus so far. And in India, there are almost close to 1 billion Hindus. That means Hafiz Saeed has protected way more Hindus than he has killed, which means Hafiz Saeed is just a misunderstood sweetheart, right?
See, Teja ki baat ye na ki I always call her Teja. So I don't want to call her by her name. I will always call her Teja. See, the Teja's speciality is that she always uses
the appeal. Are you saying both ways? Or are you saying she looks like a dude? Which one is this?
I said Hafiz Saeed is hot.
Hafiz Saeed. I thought you said Truschke Mata.
Okay. So as far as Teja is concerned, see, Teja is the one human being I've seen in my life that uses the appeal to authority the most. Right. Every time somebody has a conversation with her, Teja, मैं हूँ, मार किधर है? ये देख, ये मेरा डिग्री, ये मैंने संस्कृत सीखा, ये मैंने ऐसे किया, ये मैंने वैसे किया, तू कौन है? So she always does that. So I have to say, either she is the most insecure person on planet Earth, which she seems to be the most insecure person on planet Earth. See, imagine. See, I just want Teja to have a conversation. तो हिंदुओं को छोड़ दे, तेजा तू कन्विंस कर ले और ये सिखों को. I just want her to deal with the Sikh community. उनको बढ़ा दो ना, अपन काय को पढ़े. See, ऐसे टाइम पे ना, and I will only call her Teja because she is Teja. She is Teja. तो उसको बोलो, जाओ, you deal with the Sikh community. Tell them that तुम्हारे गुरु ने सब झूठ लिखे हैं, तुम्हारे गुरु झूठ बोल रहे थे. औरंगजेब तो फेयर एंड लवली गिफ्ट कर रहे थे सबको इंडिया में.
Very nice guy. Yeah, those kids that got put in the wall, they entered the wall themselves. They wanted to be put in that wall.
They were going inside that wall voluntarily. That wall was air conditioned and it had paneer pakode inside.
Paneer pakode inside, yeah. Free education, so everything.
That's tandoori what chicken. She's trying to say.
Tandoori chicken, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Aurangzeb invented tandoori chicken, boss. See, it was Ganga Jamuni.
He also invented the internet.
It was गंगा जमुनी तहसीब, क्योंकि जो गाय से निकलता था वो पवित्र था, वो कभी नॉनवेज के साथ मिलाया नहीं जाता था. And Aurangzeb, by bringing together the curd marination of chicken, and he colored it saffron. So he was showing गंगा जमुनी तहसीब. देखो कितना सेक्युलर था कि उसने एक मुर्गा को saffron बना के उसको दही में marinate किया. So he was showing that it was a very profound exercise in religious syncretism.
Yeah, Shivaji just basically misunderstood Aurangzeb.
Basically, right? Yeah. And the gurus also misunderstood Aurangzeb.
Gurus also misunderstood him.
I've heard it from primary sources. Like I hold seances every Saturday, and I communicate with the spirits of the other world, and I've heard it from several people who were in Aurangzeb's court. The spirits come and talk to me, and they're very clear. Aurangzeb was a very, very nice man.
Yeah.
He was actually a vegetarian also, apparently.
Yeah.
So
he designed the prototype of the telephone that bloody Edison stole from him. Did you know that? He designed the original prototype.
Because he never ate dog meat. He was also the greatest protector of dogs and cats in India's history. So but on a more serious note, did anyone notice that when they yesterday Abhinav Prakash tweeted this out? There was this RTI sent to the CBSE or the NCERT. That where did you get this information in all your CBSE books that says that when temples were destroyed, it was Mughal imperial funds that were used to rebuild them. And NCERT didn't have a source for this. Now, I can tell you, this is the first I've heard of. Yeah, this is an RTI on record now, that they don't have a source for making this claim. Now, what we need to do is, I have been searching for the primary source of this Audrey Truschke's claim that Aurangzeb employed more Hindus in his administration. I am yet to find a primary source for this. Because all I have seen is this fellow referring somebody else, that fellow footnoting somebody else, so on and so forth. I have not come across a single, to date. It's like a chicken and egg situation. I've been searching this. There is no primary source reference for this, full stop.
Look, but here's the beauty of this entire scenario. There should be only one way to deal with this woman, and that is complete and utter dismissal of her work. You see, the moment you engage with the work, is my worry is you indirectly justify it. That is the most dangerous part, because then she gets cited. See, there are very few hills that I am willing to die on. Aurangzeb is one.
It's one. But that's the easiest bloody hill to die on as well. Like the easiest hill. Le mar ja is pe. Like
See, Abhijit made a good point that the gurus got it wrong. Our Shivaji got it wrong. Aurangzeb's own court historian also got it wrong, I guess.
Of course. Everybody got it wrong about Aurangzeb.
The beauty about the Mughals
and I want to add, I also communicated with the spirits of homosexuals of the age, who were around in Aurangzeb's thing. And every time he used to throw him off minarets and towers, he actually believed in liberation. He said, "Le, main tere ko mukt kar raha hu."
I think you get it wrong. I think in the primary sources, Abhijit, if you look at primary sources, Aurangzeb genuinely believed that homosexuals can fly. All right, so he was just helping them realize that power of flight.
He was the first LGBTQ liberation activist in human history.
That's correct.
I think we should have his portrait carried in front of every gay pride parade that happens in India, because he's the patron saint of the LGBTQ community.
Of course, without a doubt. It is.
And I think we can. If you want, I can communicate with his spirit and convert him to Catholicism, so we can declare him the patron saint, the martyr patron saint of the LGBTQ community.
Abhijit, have you checked? Have the Mormons not baptized Aurangzeb too, like they did with Gandhi? The Mormons seem to get to everyone.
Yeah.
But no, look at this.
Wait, where did it go? Aurangzeb? No, where did it go? There was an account here. Oh, here it is. So like the comments come so quickly. Here it is. Aurangzeb launched Chandrayaan.
No, but let us raise a very important point. Do you know how lucky we are that, unlike everyone else, the Mughals had a court historian and they would write everything? Do you know how important it is in this fight? And I'll give you an example. So I was listening to a podcast where, there is this take, and you can take it seriously too at times, that a Mughal court historian would tend to exaggerate these things. But even if we take the exaggeration into consideration, why would they only exaggerate the bad things? I always ask this question to historians, that why do you automatically assume that their exaggeration only happens about the people they killed or the temples they destroyed, not about the temples they built? They don't have an answer to that, right? They'll always use this argument. So the argument is, oh, you can't take them literally. They would exaggerate. I was like, why do you take them literally then in the cases where they did this for a Hindu temple or that for a Hindu temple? Why is that not an exaggeration? And this is, the problem with the non-left is that they are very bad in first principle based arguments. So when you're having an argument with these people, you have to use first principles and ask them and catch them on their own lies. But thank goodness these Mughal court historians have written. I mean, imagine anybody can read the Chachnama of Ibn Qasim and the kind of mayhem that is written in that Chachnama. When I was reading it, I was like, damn, ये लोग क्या लोग थे, इनको शर्म भी नहीं आई, बोलते जा रहे, लिखते जा रहे, इसको मारा, उसको मारा, एक किया, वो किया, कोई शर्म नहीं है. They're so proud about it.
And have you noticed one common trait amongst these historians? Primary sources, when they want to discard them, they say, oh, this was an exaggeration for PR purposes. Right? Yes. But when they themselves don't have primary sources, or they find primary sources to all the primary sources that support their version, those are authentic. So, I want to know what is this measure they come up with कि ये primary source PR है और ये primary source authentic है. It's not like they're going off any hard economic history or stats. This Aurangzeb employed more Hindus. I want to see the name registers and things like that.
Yeah.
It is an open challenge right now. Who is going to give me the primary source of this so-called data point that Aurangzeb employed more Hindus?
I think there is none. I think the point that they're trying to make is that because at the peak of Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire was at its geographically, it was at its largest point. So at that point, the Mughal Empire had gone into places that were almost exclusively Hindu. So to control those areas, you needed Hindu administrators because there were no Muslim administrators available, let's say, that, or at least that number of Muslim administrators available. So you were using Hindu administrators. That's the point. Well, that was the reality, but she's trying to paint it as if Aurangzeb hired these people out of the goodness of his heart because he loved Hindus so much. No, he needed people to manage his shit.
No, so this is what a postmodern take on Indian history is. This is postmodernism. This is twisting facts and presenting it the way you want to present it. And the problem is, because she will, every time she's challenged, she will use the appeal to authority and just dismiss people. And there are enough pathetic, imbecilic people in India who will actually support her, promote her work because it helps them in their local politics. Yeah. That is the tragedy of this entire scenario.
Yeah.
Do you know the best takedown of Audrey's work on Aurangzeb came from a left-wing site called Scroll?
Really?
It wasn't the right that did it. It wasn't Op India that did it. It wasn't Swarajya that did it. It wasn't a right-wing celebrity who did it. It was the left-wing site called Scroll. It shows you the intellectual bankruptcy of the right also in India. It shows you the lack of tactical ability. It shows you the lack of scholarship. It's just stunning. It is just stunning.
Yeah.
Okay. And the problem is because the left in India is full of mediocrities generally. But imagine if you are a pale comparison even to the mediocrities of the left.
Yeah.
Tumhari auqat kya hai?
To be fair though, I feel like, in the last year, I've read good works by people from the non-left. Like I read Swapan Das Gupta's book. I thought that book was really nice, even though it's more of like a historical retelling. It's not, but still I liked it. I really liked the Rajiv and Harsh's book. So it's not like there is no, it's all mediocre. Like I don't think that it's all mediocre. I think
there are flashes of brilliance, but understand, flashes of brilliance does not make a culture of brilliance. It does not make for an ecosystem of brilliance. It does not make for a circle of brilliance.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like, it's kind of like an army in this day and age, armed with axes and spears and shields, that has 1 or 2 machine guns in it. ठीक है, 1-2 machine gun से तुम्हारा कुछ नहीं होने वाला.